So I'm the co-founder of Crypto Kanun, as many people know me. Crypto Kanun is basically a platform where we try to simplify complex subjects. When I say complex, so it's basically the regulatory part of the industry. So many people, they are like confused, and they when they enter into this industry, they think of that: is this industry legitimate or not, or is it a Ponzi scheme? Has this industry been allowed by the government or not? Will they ban it? What will happen on taxation side? And there are various other issues related to, and this is like, obviously it is quite natural for anybody who enters into this space. They will definitely feel a little confused, and that was also my first reaction to this, that it might turn out to be a Ponzi scheme when I started my journey in 2016. So because of that only, we tried to build this platform. And today, the platform, on Twitter, we have got close to 50,000 followers on Twitter. And on YouTube, we are close to like 27,000 subscribers. So in totality, if I have to put it like, so we're close to like 50 to 60,000 strong community of Crypto Kanun is there. Uh, so many people, if who are actually old in this system, they remember our live coverage which we did. So there was this iconic case which was there in the Supreme Court of India, and we covered it live from the court premises. So my co-founder was actually sitting inside the courtroom where this that case was being fought, and we did close to what 700 tweets live from the courtroom, and we were the only source of information for the entire industry to actually understand what was happening inside the courtroom. And that was actually that was a turning point in our whole journey. So that's what is Crypto Kanun all about. There was one thing very clear in my mind, that wanted to explore things beyond the 9 to 6 job. My potential, my understanding, uh, you know, is way beyond what my company needs me. Like, I mean, I can add value to my own self, to my own family, beyond what I'm getting. Obviously, you do jobs for your livelihood, but there is a sense of feeling that no, I can do more. There was always this feeling which was there in my heart, that I can do more, I could achieve more. So I always used to think what kind of business I can do, or what kind of financial decisions I can take, which can be in a part time, or which can add value to what I'm doing even today. So so I used to experiment a lot. I to be honest, and during that journey I did a couple of mistakes as well. So I will sound foolish, but I will like to admit that while you search for alternate options for earning alternate incomes, you tend to get land up in situations where you actually lost money as well. So like, there was just couple of options which I explored in 2015 2016. But then one of my friend, childhood friend, while we were traveling together, he, for the first time in October or November 2016, right? He showed me that, so something. I said, what? He said, there's this amazing technology which is called Bitcoin, and you have this application. So he showed me one application of an exchange from where he bought, and he said, look, so this is a digital currency and it stays there, and the value increases. So you are so let me show you. That, see, today, right now, it is what, 7,000. After half an hour, he again showed me, and he said, look, the value has increased. So he done an investment of close to 9 to 10,000 rupees in that Bitcoin. And uh, and my first reaction to that was, yeah, don't waste my time. So we were together in a train journey. I said, don't waste my time, let me sleep. And these are all Ponzi scheme. And yes, I want to do explore other options in my life, but that doesn't mean I've already faced a lot of challenges in my life by losing money in Ponzi schemes, where I tried different things. He said, no, it's not a Ponzi scheme, you're completely mistaken, and all that stuff. but I didn't listen to him. And then we were there together for 48 hours. So again, after 7 8 hours, he used to come back and used to tell me that, you can just look at that, man. See, now it has become 13,000. Now it has become 14,000. And what happens when your childhood friends keeps pushing you, actually say, "Acha la dikha." Then I took that application in my hand and said, and then I tried to explore it. And it looked legitimate. It looked a little legitimate. Why? Because the user interface, the UI, ZipPay, and then so the founder, he said, okay, look at the founder of this app, and I went on to YouTube and I saw him doing a lectures and all that and talking to people, and I said, looks legitimate, but I don't know. I'm not sure about this. But okay, fine, yeah. If you're saying, let me invest 5,000 rupees in this, and based on that, I downloaded the app and did my KYC and all that, and invested 5,000 rupees and forgot. When I came back home after 2 3 days, an alert uh, came in that my 5,000 is now 7,500, and that got me a that got me a little. I called up my wife and said, "Yeah, he told me about this application, and I invested 5,000 rupees, and now it is like 7,500." Oh, no, 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 it's a Ponzi scheme. You already lost money. Be very careful. And obviously, who can give you a 30, 40, 50% kind of an increase within a couple of days or 5 6 days? But eventually what happened that, when you have an application on your mobile phone, and when you get these kind of alerts, it grows on you. Then suddenly, when I started searching my free time, I started searching it on Google and everywhere, and there were a lot of news, and CNBC was covering it. So internationally, there were people were talking about Bitcoin on CNBC, on different news channels, and you had news coverage. And I said, you know I don't know, I'm not sure about it, that because even if Satoshi Nakamoto doesn't exist and all that, but still there has to be something. People believe it to be true, so I can take a little more risk as well. So I started increasing my investments in that. So my next investment was 10,000, and another investment was of 17,000. So three time I invested for less than 20,000, and it was like close to 30 40,000 I had invested in Bitcoin. But then later on, when my this complete research was completed, it took like 20 21 22 days to I got into it, because I was a guy where I was looking for alternatives, and I was good at economics as a student. I was searching for alternatives, and I was searching for an additional income while I was doing jobs. So all these 3 4 things motivated me to search for Bitcoin, to do a research on that, to study a little bit more about that. And my research was done, and I said, okay, now is the time that you know I have to take a big leap. I had decided. I called up my wife and made her sit around me, and I said that I want to take a big leap of faith. She said, what? I said, I want to invest in Bitcoin. So she said, you have already invested in that. What is an issue? I said, no, that's a small step. I want to take a big leap of faith, and this can turn around our life. Let me tell you, we can retire in another 3 4 years. She said, I don't believe you, and you are now going in a wrong direction. I said, please, you trust me. I have done a lot of research. This is going to change the way people living their life. This is going to end a lot of sufferings. This is going to give back the power in people's hand. No central authority, controls it. Community runs it. It is not going to die. It lives on computer. Nobody can, kill it. Nobody can control it. And there is no issue of trust. So whatever little information I had gathered, I remember I was able to convince my wife. She said, okay, fine. Shall I sell my gold jewelry? I said, no. No, 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 no. Gold is like emotions. We can't. ये नहीं. दिल इतना भी नहीं मान रहा. So she said, what do you want to do? I said, I'm a salaried guy. Banks will be able to give me personal loan. She said, okay, so do you want to try? I went to my banker and I said, okay, so I went to one banker where I used to get my salary. He offered me an amount which was like, okay. I said, no, 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 this is not an amount which I'm looking at. I'm looking at a bigger amount. She said, no, your eligibility is not that high. I said, okay, fine, I'll go to another bank. So I kept hovering to public sector bank and private sector bank, and eventually I got a private sector bank, and where the guy said, okay, we'll get you what you want, but it'll be on a higher rate of interest. I was so desperate and I was so convinced with Bitcoin that I said, no, 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 not an issue. I'll return you back this in what, another 6 months. Said, okay, fine, we'll approve that loan, but this will be on our rate of interest, our charges, our pre-closure charge and all that. And then they approved my loan. So the moment that loan came in, within half an hour, the moment your loan comes in your account, so within half an hour, I invested the entire amount in Bitcoins. And so the amount was big. They're so they had a separate person who actually assisted me in doing that, and they said, okay, fine. So it took half an hour for them to process it, and eventually I got my Bitcoins in my wallet. And after I had that in my wallet, my friend called me up, the same old friend who introduced me to this. And even he was innocent. I will not say that. Even today we are good friends. So he said that, now you got your Bitcoins. I said yes. He said, now I'll tell you. There's this company, which promises to double your Bitcoin in 18 months. I said, yeah, now you said buy Bitcoin. I did research on Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin. Now you're saying there is a company which says they will double it. Now don't give me this. I mean, let me be happy in this. He said, no, 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 no. You trusted me, na. Your research is okay, na. You do another research on this company, yaar. Even that will help me also. So I'm not saying you go blind. You take it a couple of days, do a research on that. Let me share some information on that company. And to be honest, that company at that point of time was looking one of the most legitimate company. And not just me, there were many, many people who had brains who could actually do research, got influenced with that company. There were a couple of mainstream celebrities who were promoting it. So I was like, zapped. I said, okay, they can't go wrong. Celebrities, they can't go wrong. I mean, they have those people who guide them. So I got influenced with that. And my research also proved me that this company seems to be legitimate. A lot of people were talking about it. And again, I took what, not 20 minutes, the moment I was convinced, and another half an hour, my Bitcoins were transferred to that company. And eventually, after that, it's history. That company took all the Bitcoins and never got that Bitcoins back. The only thing which I had was uh, my EMI and my depression. So those are like couple of things which happened to me in 2000. So this happened quite quick, quite fast. So in 2000 November I was introduced. In 2000 December 2017 2016 December my research was done. 2016 December I bought. 2016 and December early I invested in that company, and rest is history. So yes, that was like a wrong decision which I took at that point of time. I went into my went into a hole. I was a little depressed. I was worried about my EMIs, and I don't know how I'm going to pay that. So I kept paying it because since I was working for a company, so yes, it was kind of a calculated risk that if everything goes wrong, will I be able to pay the EMIs? Yes, I had a job to do that, but obviously, my everything was going into EMIs. So yes, my friend also lost it, but my friend didn't lost to that extent. But he also lost it. I also lost it, and they were close to what? They were close to. mm, I mean, they were close to people in lakhs actually invested in that company. So that was it. And that very moment I realized that uh, that that I decided that I will not look at crypto and I will not come back and introduce crypto to anyone. So there was a brief phase in my life where I said, okay, I really don't want to look at crypto again. And I never introduced it to anybody. My wife was a huge support even during that time. She said, okay, fine, fair enough. That some things work and some things don't work in life. So it's okay. So we said, okay, fine. I was then again focusing on my job and everything. And then came in a time where crypto is such that it keeps coming you back once you're into it. So some kind of news used to come back again and again. And then I realized that I don't know, like me, how many people will suffer. And then the thought of doing something so that it shouldn't be repeated with anybody in life, because I realized that uh, you know so my father uh, uh, during his childhood wanted to go to school, wanted to graduate, but he couldn't afford to do that because of the financial this thing. So he used to discuss this thing with me that whenever you do something in life, whenever, because you have the privilege of education, and you know so whenever you reach at a level in your life, beta, always try and help people you know who do not have knowledge of what they are doing wrong or they're right. So those thoughts actually started came coming back to my life, that fine, if I have faced an experience, I think now comes a time when I need to help people around me or build a platform where they should not be cheated again. They should not be get influenced by these Ponzi schemes and all. But yes, 2017, thought came into me. I did a lot of research and all, and then eventually 2018 came in, and where all those thoughts, all those experiences, they actually took a shape and then came into existence. Crypto Kanu. I was sure that it's not that Bitcoin was wrong, or Bitcoin didn't do anything wrong to me, right? By the way, if I would have kept only Bitcoin with me, Bitcoin would have rewarded me, right? Uh, so what was wrong? The wrong was that there was this Ponzi scheme which was running, and I trusted that Ponzi scheme. So one thing was sure in my mind, that crypto as an industry, Bitcoin as a ultimate store of value is not wrong, right? So my decision was wrong. So I s- instantly, these thoughts, they came into my mind that I have to be sure about it, that if I'm going to stick with this industry, I need to be 100% convinced that this industry is okay. So I was totally convinced in 2017 also that this industry is fine. And it took a little while with the support of my family to come out of that setback. And we kept paying our EMIs. And then whatever little saving after those paying off these EMIs, we again started our journey. You know, started our journey in mid 2017 and then late 2017. And you have this. So whatever small money we could accumulate, then we started buying again, right? And obviously, in 2017, my research kept growing, my understanding of the field kept growing. And 2017 was also a time when there was this whole altcoin boom, and a lot of ICOs, a lot of Ponzi schemes were floating in 2017. 2017 was one of the most scariest time. It was a good time as well, but it was also a time when a lot of people actually lost money as well, because in 2017 anybody could build a token overnight and they could launch it. And like today, even today, you have this DeFi space, decentralized finance space, where the tokens are coming every other day. So similarly, in 2017, there were a lot of tokens used to come overnight. They only used to launch a white paper, and based on that white paper they used to collect so many funds, and they used to give tokens to people, and they used to say that we will get launched on so and so exchange, and then they used to dump those token on those exchanges. So a lot of people actually lost money. Some very good projects actually came out as well, like Tezos is one of those projects which came in, which did an ICO in 2017. Binance is one of the exchange which they launched their ICOs in 2017. So a lot of good projects also came in, but a lot of people also lost money in that. So I was looking that industry very closely in 2017, and I was seeing that how people were getting influenced, how people were getting cheated, how people were losing money. So that kept building in my mind that we need to work something around it. We need to educate. We need to tell people around it. And I think that moment actually arrived in 2018. What happened that RBI came up with a circular on 6th of April 2018. So what happened that before this circular came, while I was doing this journey in 2017, I met my co-founder. So his name is Mohammed Danish. So he's a advocate by profession, right? So when I got cheated, so I so he's my family friend. So I went to him. I said, "Look, this happened with me." So he couldn't understand that what is Bitcoin. He said, let me, why you went there? I said, no, it's not a Ponzi scheme. Bitcoin is not a Ponzi scheme. The company where I invested in. So he understood the entire matter. He said, Kashif bhai, uh, I completely resonate with you. I completely understand with you. And I think a lot of people. So he also started, in 2017. See, he also started viewing this industry. He started understanding this industry, and he said that a lot of people do not have a knowledge about this industry in regulatory space, and they will continue to lose money. So we were continuously in discussion with each other that there should be a platform, there should be a platform. We were very committed to committed to this belief that there should be one platform where people should get the right information and right knowledge about this space. And eventually in April 2018, when the RBI circular came in, that was the day when we both decided to, okay, fine. Uh, I think this is the time, because what happened when that circular came, uh, panicked reached to every individual in this industry. They were all panicking. So many people were losing money by doing a panic selling. Everybody in the industry was trying to decode the circular in their own way. Nobody had the complete information. Nobody had the details. So during that time, Crypto Kanun also. So on 6th of April, the RBI circular came in, and on the same day, Crypto Kanun was also born. So it was just a coincidence, but people think that it got emerged overnight. No. So there was this history of my history, and plus Danish was reading this industry closely, because I got in touch with him, and I went to him for my case. But then that case was not resolved, but we eventually landed up in a better understanding of this space, and we said, okay, let's start with crypto and Kanun, and then from there we started our journey. And I think from since then, what has happened that whenever there is a regulatory update, we are the first ones to decode it. We are the first one to make a video on it. We are the first one to simplify this. We are the first one to clear the FUD. So what happens that the mainstream media, they do not have a uh, understanding of this space to an extent. What we have our own knowledge, understanding, and experience. So when they do it, they try to create, when they publish an article, because they are mainstream media, so that leads to FUD. FUD is like fun, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So we try to clear that FUD, and we try to present the right picture. And the Danish is also, is an expert in crypto fraud as well, where a lot of people, they when they face fraud, we try and help them as well. And we've also helped a lot of companies as well in their legal frameworks, because since there is no legal clarity as such right now, we have made series on taxations. So so again, we have tried to help the community, we tried to help the people in a better understanding. And other than that, we also uh, help people in understanding that crypto is going mainstream. So we started this campaign called 2 Minute Ki Baat, where we try to present videos on the mass adoption of crypto. And we also have a YouTube channel where we try and bring people from crypto, and we interview them and explain that what is actually happening on ground, and we try to present the clear exact picture. So like, even if today Nishchal Shetty has built an exchange, and he's trying to be an interface, he's trying to bring a platform, he's trying to bring crypto to masses, to millions and millions in India. So his exchange is growing, he is himself growing, his monetarily he is growing, right? So even we are growing. So somebody is growing is growing at a faster pace, somebody is growing at a average pace, somebody is growing a little slower, but everybody is growing in this ecosystem, and that's the beauty. So these experiences need to be shared and need to be told. And I think what a great way of telling it. And I think Human of Crypto is an amazing way of doing it. Congratulations to the team.